Hello, and welcome back to another video. Today, we will be going over a different topic. We will be going over 9 most grueling ancient Greek capital punishments. We will be ranking these from 1 to 9 in brutality and by the pain in which the individual underwent. But before we start, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so that you're notified when we next upload. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Number 9. Public stoning. Rare in Athens but referenced in Greek legal and religious texts. Practiced for crimes such as adultery, murder, or sacrilege. Served as both punishment and public spectacle, reinforcing collective morality, and was most common during the classical period. In this communal form of execution, the condemned was surrounded by members of the public who threw stones at them until death. The execution could be slow or fast depending on the severity of the attack. Number 8. Poisoning. This punishment was present from around the 5th to 4th century BC in ancient Greece. It was considered a dignified execution for educated or elite offenders, and was reserved mainly for Athenian citizens guilty of crimes like impiety or corrupting youth. The most common form of executing was with hemlock. The condemned was given a cup of hemlock, which caused progressive paralysis, eventually stopping the lungs. Socrates, who commonly accepted his death sentence by hemlock in 399 BCE, remains the most famous example. Number 7. Throwing from a cliff. This punishment was present from around the archaic and classical periods. The physical removal of the convict symbolized moral unworthiness and expulsion from society. The person was simply brought to the hill and then pushed or hurled off the steep cliff, often without ceremony. Number 6. Drowning in a sack. This punishment was present from around the 5th to 2nd century BC. A more theatrical and symbolic punishment, drowning in a sack involved sealing the victim inside a leather bag and casting them into a body of water. They would also often add live animals such as snakes, dogs, or roosters to add to the horror. Number 5. Impalement. This punishment was seen during the late Hellenistic period, particularly under despotic rulers, and was used for traitors, spies, or enemies of tyrants. One of the most excruciating forms of punishment, impalement involved driving a long wooden stake through the body, usually entering through the rectum or vagina and exiting through the mouth, chest, or shoulder. The death was slow, often taking hours or even days. Greek accounts of barbarian enemies describe impalement as both a punishment and warning. Number 4. Burning alive. This punishment was present from around the sporadic use. Most references come from Hellenistic literature. Reserved for the most serious religious offenses, such as temple desecration or sacrilege, burning alive was a brutal and symbolic punishment. Victims were tied to a stake, often in public, and set aflame as onlookers watched. The use of fire, a sacred and purifying element, was meant to cleanse the offense spiritually, even as it inflicted horrific pain. However, because cremation was the respectful method for honoring the dead in many Greek traditions, burning someone alive reversed that honor. It transformed fire into a tool of condemnation, denying the condemned the dignity of proper funeral rites and a peaceful afterlife. Number 3. Crucifixion. This type of torture was used in the late classical and Hellenistic periods, increasing with Roman influence. Although crucifixion became more prominent under Roman rule, Greeks were aware of and occasionally used the practice, particularly in border regions or in times of war. It involved affixing the condemned to a cross or stake, either by nails or ropes, and leaving them exposed to the elements until death from exhaustion, dehydration, or organ failure. Crucifixion was reserved for slaves, pirates, and enemies of the state. The practice was designed to prolong agony and humiliate the victim, often leaving the body unburied as a warning. Greek writers saw crucifixion as a mark of barbarity. The later Hellenistic rulers adopted it more freely. Number 2. Brazen bull. This punishment was present from around the 6th century BC. This method of torture was used by tyrants like Phalaris of Acragas, Sicily. The victim was placed inside a hollow bronze bull and locked in, after which a fire was lit underneath, roasting the person alive. The bull was engineered so the screams of the dying were converted into bellowing sounds, creating a chilling spectacle. According to legend, Perillos was the first to die in the bull, a cruel twist of fate. The device became a symbol of excessive tyranny and the grotesque fusion of punishment and performance. Number 1. Scaphism. Described by Greek historians such as Plutarch, scaphism, though Persian in origin, was often cited as the most sadistic execution ever devised, and was used between the 5th to 4th century BC. The condemned was trapped between two hollowed-out logs or boats, then force-fed milk and honey. Their body was smeared with honey to attract insects, and they were left in stagnant water or under the sun. Over several agonizing days, insects devoured their flesh, infections set in, and the victim died in putrid agony. Greeks didn't use scaphism themselves, but included it in their historical texts to illustrate the cruelty of foreign despots. It represented death not just of the body, but of dignity and identity. The first mention of scaphism is Plutarch's description of the execution of the soldier Mithridates, given as punishment by King Artaxerxes II for taking the king's valor and claiming to be the one who killed his brother Cyrus the Younger, who had rebelled in an attempt to claim the throne of the Achaemenid Empire. And that's it for today. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe and turn on that notification bell so that you're notified when we next upload. See you next time.